All right, my friends. This is like take four. We've had some technical difficulties, and then I've just been stumbling over words and saying, no, you need to start over. So here we are. It is Saturday morning, July 26th. I have an out of the box crazy idea for the Yankees, and we are also going to break down the Ryan McMahon trade. I think in general, it was a good trade for the Yankees. Do I think it wins them the American League? I do not. Is it a step in the right direction? It absolutely is. But let's introduce the show the right way, and then we'll get to the specifics. All right, my friends, here we are. Let's get that music down. There we go. Nice. We'll get the start spreading the news banner up. Hey, it's Saturday, July the 26th. Let's make today a great day. How do you make your day great? Why? It's simple. You look around and you notice and appreciate all the good that is around you. There is good around you, absolutely, positively, in more ways than you can count. When we take the time to look around ourselves and not focus on me, and instead focus on all the goodness around us, we can't help but have great days. Then, let's make our days even better. Take that goodness and perpetuate that goodness by sharing it with others. When we give love, it comes back to us in greater amounts than we ever gave. But let's just say, for some reason, we all go through down times. You can't find anything good. I get it. We've all been there. If you can't look around and find the good, then do the next best thing. Create some good yourself. Do something nice. Write a letter to an old friend. Call a relative. Help a neighbor. Donate your time, your energy, or some money to a charity. Do something nice. Then there is good. You've just created it. And when you're doing it for others, you're also perpetuating that good. Find ways to be kind. Find ways to share happiness and love and kindness, and your world will be better. So, as of yesterday, the Yankees world is a little better. The Yankees went out and they acquired Ryan McMahon. Now, here's the thing. This is shocking. Some Yankee fans cannot or refuse to understand. The deal makes a lot of sense because for the first time in a long time, the Yankees are actually playing someone at third base. Sit down for this. Don't go too crazy. The Yankees are actually playing somebody at third base who is, shockingly, a third baseman. Now, Ryan McMahon, the way I'm seeing all the articles, is a very, very good defensive third baseman. That's something the Yankees have not had in a long time. Now, I know people say Jazz Chisholm did just fine there. And maybe he did. I disagree. I think he was adequate, But if you're a team that, and if you think adequate is just fine, maybe we're agreeing. But adequate isn't good enough if your goal is to win the World Series. This is what so many people just don't get, or they refuse to admit is correct. The Yankees are not an also-ran organization. The Yankees are not the Sacramento A's, who just need to put players on a field so they have a team. The Yankees are supposed to be one of the premier teams in the league. The Yankees are promised every season, or the Yankee ownership and management promises to the fans every season, that the Yankees are going to be contenders for the World Championship. Adequate, good enough, doesn't cut it. So if you want to say that Jazz Chisholm was just fine, he was adequate, he was good enough, I might accept that. I don't think he was a good third baseman. He was especially not a good third baseman this year. The Yankees obviously also didn't think he was a good third baseman. They didn't acquire him to play third. They acquired him to play where he is good, second base. And the Yankees asked Gleyber Torres to go to third, and Gleyber refused. So the Yankees had no choice but to take a guy they didn't want to play third and play him at third. When you watched him, he made certain plays. Of course he did. He's a major leaguer. He's very talented. He's athletic. But was he a good third baseman? No, because you cannot be a good major league third baseman if you're just learning the position and have never played it before. This is so obvious that I'm amazed that so many people can't, won't, or refuse to understand or admit it. We are not talking about some guy playing third base in a softball league for grown-ups. We are not talking about a kid in high school who was a shortstop who they put at third because they got another better shortstop. We're not talking about a guy in the minor leagues. We're not talking about a kid in the Cape Cod League. We are talking about the major leagues where only the best perform. And the best third basemen, the ones who are going to play the position at a championship level, are the ones who have a ton of experience at the position. This idea that you can just take an athlete and put him in a position and expect him to be at the top level, which is what the Yankees keep telling their fans they are all about. We are there to win championships. If you're playing a subpar third baseman, you're not obviously playing to win championships. You're putting a Band-Aid on a problem. You cannot learn a major league position on the job. It's impossible. It just doesn't work. So the Yankees acquired Jazz Chisholm to play second. They put him at third. It went so well. This is what no one will recognize. It went so well. The Yankees were so happy with how Jazz Chisholm played third base last year that they didn't have him practice the nuances of the position, because that's what you learn when you've played that position for countless amounts of innings in countless amounts of games to prepare to be a major league third baseman. The Yankees were so happy with the way Jazz Chisholm played third base that they didn't have him work out at third base all winter. Now, does that sound like an organization that says, that guy could probably do it? No, it does not. It sounds like an organization that says, yee, that wasn't so great. We escaped by the skin of our teeth. It worked well enough, not great. So let's not do that again next year, which is this year. Then spring training rolls around. The Yankees, all winter, we kept saying they don't have a third baseman. They get to spring training. They still have Jazz Chisholm. Do they say, hey, in case we don't get a third baseman, let's put Jazz at third and at least give him some reps there? Let's play him at third because there's a possibility we are going to need him there. No, they didn't. What does that say? That says the organization does not feel he can play third base. It's so obvious. There's no other explanation. People who want to make up all these different reasons are just making up different reasons. The Yankees' actions tell the story. They put him at third reluctantly. As soon as the season ended, and they put him there only because they had no other choice. As soon as the season ended, they said, that's done. We're never doing that again. They still don't get a third baseman. They go to spring training, and when every option is on the table, they still don't have him play third base. Why? Because they said he's not a third baseman. And then they bring back DJ LeMahieu. Oswaldo Cabrera is injured, who's really not a great third baseman anyway because he's never proven he can hit. And with, again, nothing else to do, they have no other choice. They take Jazz Chisholm and put him at third base, and it's a disaster. Well, if he's a good third baseman, why was it a disaster? Oh, well, he hurt his shoulder. So last year he was good, but this year, a year later, with more reps and more experience, he's worse. No. He's the same guy. He's not a good third baseman. So the Yankees finally took Jazz off third base and put him where he belongs, at second base. And they cut DJ LeMahieu, which they should have done last year. But we're not looking back. Let's look forward. The Yankees just traded 2 low-level minor league pitchers for Ryan McMahon. And again, Ryan McMahon is a third baseman. So the Yankees, if nothing else, have acquired a guy who knows how to play third base. And for a team that hasn't been able to find a guy who knows how to play third base, that's a step in the right direction. Now, does Ryan McMahon move the needle? Well, in regard to having a guy who can play a position that no one else in the organization can play at the major league level, that's moving the needle a long way. Yes. Does he move the needle enough to make the Yankees championship contenders again? I'm not sure. Because the problem with Ryan McMahon is he doesn't really hit. He hits for power. He'll hit home runs. Here are his home run totals the last many years. 2019, 24. 2020, he hit 9, but it was a shortened season, so you double that and add a couple. He had 9. That's 18. That's basically a 20 home run season. 2021, he hit 23. 2022, he hit 20. 2023, he hit 23. 2024, he hit 20. We're a little past halfway this year. He's already up to 16, which really comes out to the high 20s. He's probably on pace to have his highest home run total in his career. His numbers in another regard are terrific. Starting in 2021, he played 151 games. In 2022, he played 153 games. Then he played 152 games, 153 games. This year, he's already played 100 games. So he hits for power. He's a very good defensive third baseman. And most importantly, he shows up to work. He plays every day. And the Yankees need guys like that. The problem is he's really not a great hitter. OPS Plus takes a player's statistics and they use all sorts of different methodologies, which I don't understand, don't know, and never get into. I just take the numbers for what they say they are, and they compare them to everybody else across baseball for that team, in that stadium, for those circumstances, in that particular year. and they come up with a number, 100, that is league average. That would be a league average hitter. If you're above that, if you have an OPS plus over 100, you're performing as a hitter better than league average. And if your OPS plus is below average, below 100, it's a below average OPS plus. So the OPS plus for Ryan McMahon for his career is 92. He's a below average major league hitter. Hits a lot of home runs. He plays every day. He plays good defense, but he's a below average major league hitter. And across the entirety of his career, he's never even been a league average hitter. He has never had an OPS plus of 100. So it's a step in the right direction, an absolute step in the right direction. Does it get the Yankees to the next level? I don't think so, not yet. But can the Yankees at least say they have a major league third baseman? They can, and they do. And that is positive, because the other way the Yankees have been approaching it is just throwing guys over there and hoping for the best. And that hasn't worked. Many have said the Yankees should get O'Neal Cruz to play third base. That again would just be nothing more than an experiment. And if you're competing to win a World Series, it is time, absolutely time, to get a real third baseman. If you're competing for a World Series, that's not the time to experiment with some guy who might be good there. O'Neal Cruz could prove everybody wrong and play great third base. When they tried it with him in the minor leagues, it didn't go well. I wrote about that a couple weeks ago. He made a ton of errors. So it doesn't seem like that's a position he can play. And the Yankees don't have to try that. They don't have to say, I wonder if he can, because now third base is covered with Ryan McMahon. So I'm in favor of the deal. I'm happy with the deal. Now, this program, my dear friends, is brought to you by Artemisia Publishing. You can find Artemisia Publishing online at apbooks.net. Now, apbooks.net will bring you to the site where you can get some of the greatest books of all time, including ones written by me, including The Least Among Them, From Compton to the Bronx, which I, of course, wrote with Roy White, 365.2, and the most wonderful novel ever written, Scattering the Ashes. So take a look at apbooks.net, Artemisia Publishing. It is a top-notch American traditional independent publisher who put out a ton of great books in a variety of genres. They will also be publishing my next great Yankee book. More on that to come. And that book will come out in February of next year. And as we approach August, that's like right around the corner. I mean, it's amazing. When we signed the contract and it was like, it's not coming out till February 2026, that looks like it's 100 years away. And all of a sudden, it's not. So you should also, of course, check out the greatest Yankees site in the world, Start Spreading the News. On Start Spreading the News, we put up new content every single day. We've been doing this since 2017. Nobody does this. And we do it for free, and we don't litter the page with ads. Nobody does this, where they give you free articles every day at 6, 10, and 2 without fail. I would say that 99% of the days since we started all those years ago, we have given at least those 3 free articles every single day. That's amazing. Plus, when there's a game, we put up the game thread so people can comment. And then after the game, 99.9% of the time, there's a quick hit that gives a very quick summary. So if someone goes on to Start Spreading the News, they can find out quickly if the Yankees won or if they lost. And let's hope they win a lot more. But one or some of our readers have been expecting on this show for me to tell you a big idea. A lot of people feel the Yankees are at the point where they need to make an earth-shattering big move to propel this club to the next level. Let me take a step back because I'm going to give it to you. I will tell you the big move. In 2017, the Yankees almost made it to the World Series. They had a great manager, a highly respected manager, a guy who had managed before he became the Yankees manager, a guy who had won a World Series, and a guy who everyone knew was getting a lot out of his players. That was Joe Girardi. The Yankees fired him. They had the world of potential baseball managers, except the ones on the other teams that were hired, to pick from. Guys with experience, guys with long resumes. And they picked a guy, Aaron Boone, who never managed anything before. He never coached anywhere before. He never managed a team anywhere. He was a broadcaster. On top of which, no other team was even considering Aaron Boone as a baseball manager. The only team that interviewed him was the Yankees. They hired a novice, and they got novice work. Everybody. Now, I was saying this from the start, but now it's generally accepted by almost every single person who watches baseball. The man is not a great strategist. The Yankees don't play good fundamental baseball. The Yankees have played sloppy baseball through the entire Aaron Boone era. He doesn't hold his players accountable. And the Yankees don't win World Series. In big games, he gets outmanaged time and time and time again. The supporters of Aaron Boone say that he is blameless because so much of what he does is dictated from above by Brian Cashman. That Cashman tells him, you have to do what I say or you won't be the Yankee manager. And that was the conditions in which he was hired. Now, I don't know if that's true because I'm not with the inner workings of the Yankees. If it is true, Aaron Boone still is his own man. You don't have to just take orders. Well, then he'd lose his job. Okay, then you lose your job. I would rather have my integrity and know that I was doing what I thought was right than to just be a puppet. Now, again, I don't know if he's a puppet. I don't know that. I don't know that at all. But if that's the case, it's a bad look. It's a bad look for Brian Cashman because that means he's weak. Because a great leader hires other leaders, other people who they allow to do their job. It's a weak leader that says you have to do it my way. And if you're a person who just says, I will do whatever you want, boss, you're a weak leader. If that's Aaron Boone in the dugout, he is being a weak leader. There's no question about that. And if he is, as much as some players supposedly like him, I cannot imagine there's a whole lot of respect because people don't respect people who don't stand up for themselves. A leader has to be a leader. And if a leader is not leading, then he cannot garnish, engender, or anything, any kind of respect. So here's the big move. If I own the Yankees, this is what I do. I call Brian Cashman into my office. I say, Brian, your way has not worked. It's over. I'm not firing you yet because we are in the middle of a season and I need you to go out there and build this team over the next week so they can win the World Series. But this idea that you have this manager who, as we said, has all these flaws, which I noted from the beginning. I said before his first spring training, I said, we don't know that this guy knows how to prepare a baseball team. And it's proven that he doesn't. He hasn't, ever. The knock on Boone is that he is not his own man and that he takes orders. But whether that's true or not, he isn't a good manager. So I bring Brian Cashman into my office and I say, you're going to fire Boone today. No, I hope Aaron Boone gets a job with another team after working with the Yankees, and I hope he has a long and great and successful career. I don't wish ill on him. I just don't think he's the right man to manage the Yankees. He hasn't proven he is. Can people do a bad job on one team, learn from their mistakes, be reflective, and do a better job somewhere else? Of course they can. Bill Belichick did that, became the greatest coach in the NFL, but his first time with the Browns, the Cleveland Browns, he didn't do a great job. And then he had to look back and say, how can I be better? Aaron Boone needs to do that. And I would say you're going to hire a manager who's great with strategy, who has demonstrated that he can get the most out of his players. And we're going to hire him for the rest of this year to try to be somebody who gains immediate respect in the dugout. But here's the thing. You're going to bring this guy in. He's going to be the manager starting tomorrow, and you're going to leave him alone. No one's going to tell him what lineup to use. No one is going to tell him what players to play. This guy is going to make all the decisions. It's all going to rest on him. And if he makes the Yankees better, he is going to earn himself a nice big contract with the stipulation that we are going to leave him alone because he knows what he's doing and he has a history of success. But the key is we have to leave him alone. We have to leave him alone to manage and to do the great job he can do. We're not telling him what to do. Brian, it's a new era. You get him the players and he manages the team, period. You're hiring Joe Madden. Now, I know some people say, oh, Joe Madden, oh, my goodness. No, read his book. He was doing well as a manager until he felt that he wasn't allowed to manage. When he was allowed to manage, he did a great job. Modern day front offices think that they know better how to manage players. They don't. Joe Madden is a winner. He's respected in the game. And he would bring the Yankees instant credibility in the dugout. Any of the players who are Boone supporters would have to say, no, this guy knows what he's doing. He's a great manager. Get out of the way, front office. Let Joe Madden run the team for the last couple months and see what he can do. Maybe the difference between the Yankees winning the World Series and falling short can be just a few little games. And those few games could be won with a manager who knows how to win. And that guy is Joe Madden. So I think that's I don't think that is definitively the big move. Bring in a manager. Tell Cashman his way didn't work. His job's on the line. We're going to figure it out at the end of the season. You get a brand new manager in there, someone who is automatically respected, someone who is automatically known as a winner, someone who most people say we can't outmanage Joe Madden. He's 5 innings ahead of us. That's the guy the Yankees need in the dugout. Get him now. That's earth-shattering. That would change the dynamics of the Yankees. It would get the front office out of the dugout, and it would put in the dugout a guy who knows how to win. So they were asking on Start Spreading the News for an earth-shattering idea. There it is. Let's hope over the next week, Brian Cashman continues to help the team, improve the team, and make the team better. Let's go Yankees. All right, my friends, thank you for watching. It is always a pleasure. Be sure to tune into the Start Spreading the News Yankee podcast that comes on Monday nights live at 9 p.m. And this week, we will be live again. We're live probably 95% of the time, but sometimes Mondays are busy and we have to pre-record. We'll be live this week. Hopefully, we're discussing a lot more great Yankee moves. Have yourselves a wonderful day. Give kindness, give love. When we give it, it comes back to us in greater amounts than we ever gave. Have a great day.